Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This time it's going to be of the brand new Bandai Tamashii Nations Figuarts Berserk Guts Berserker Armor. Very excited to finally have this figure. A lot of people have been really anticipating this. This sold out super quick for a lot of people. I got lucky when this went back up for pre-order on Genki earlier in September. But the fact that this sold out as quick as it did just shows how hyped people were for Figuarts to be tackling Berserk. It's going to be a great time with these figures. I have been really wanting to get into this series for years. I was gifted this volume by a friend. I've been in like halfway through this. I'm really busy. Have not been able to get into it, unfortunately. But it's a series I really want to get into, and so far I really am digging. Eventually I will know what I'm talking about. I haven't reached the point with this particular armor yet, so I do apologize for that. Anyway, let's go ahead, take a look at the packaging. Enough rambling. Bandai Namco, Figuarts right there. I don't know why I paused. The figure in the box. I will pull out that backdrop in a second because it looks really cool. You see some of the contents there, as well as Guts, Berserker Armor, a little read-up of Figuarts. Really cool artwork of Guts right there. That is incredible. Berserk, #1 fantasy comic by Miura Kentaro and Studio Gaga. We also have, if I have to go down a little bit, the quality sticker for Tamashii Nations, as well as the Tamashii Nations logo right there. Bandai, made in China. On this side here, so we look at the top, of course, it says Figuarts. All the way down is this really cool photo of Guts with the sword. Guts, Berserker Armor right there. The other side right here, again on the top there, it says Figuarts and Guts Berserk. However, you can just see that with how they post this with the sword, they decided to do it like this. That is really sick. On the top right here, again, Figuarts and Berserker Armor, excuse me, with Guts holding the Dragon Slayer sword. That is insane. And then, if you look on the bottom there, you do have the barcode case unit, as well as support pages for Bandai Spirits and Figuarts. Looking on the back, this is a pretty wide box. Very long for, you know, a standard SHF. I guess it's not really standard. Guts, Berserk Armor, Figuarts, images that we've seen from the promotional images. Really cool artwork mixed in there too. This is just gorgeous posing and photos and artwork. And then on the bottom there, it does say ages 15 and up, even though this is a mature rated series, so that warning might need to be higher, but it's whatever. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the really awesome packaging. And here is the figure out of the packaging. No cape or other accessories that are supposed to be on this guy on just yet. This figure is phenomenal. I am so happy with it. I think there are a couple things that are a little bit convoluted with this particular figure. I have just a couple minor gripes with my particular figure, but this thing is so awesome. I'm so happy with it. I don't think I mentioned it enough. That box was amazing. It was so beautiful. One of my favorite boxes that we've gotten this year. I just have to talk about it again. Really quick look at these accessories, as quick as I can make it, then we'll take a close look at the figure. Who am I kidding? This isn't going to be quick. I'm going to try to make it quick, guys. I know, there's a lot of stuff. This face here, the gritting teeth, is fantastic. The shading around the cheeks here and around the chin, like the lip color and on the teeth, the closed eye, the scrunching you get from going from the eyes onto the bridge of the nose. Like, look at that red in the eye. Look how these are sculpted. You know, the eyebrows are sculpted and painted. You have that white streak up there, and then you have, you know, like the hair detailing is really good. I think there's a tiny bit of a splotch right there. The ears are nice. The scars on his face are really good too, like on the nose or on the cheek here, there, on his cheek as well. That's really cool. This is a more simple type of like porting system. And just to show you, this is really well hidden, and you just pop this face off, pop this on there, and it stays on there really. In fact, this might be a little indented to where it feels like it's squished in a little bit, at least these pegs. And then if you heat this up a little bit here, you're going to need to do some heating up for some things here, and I'll show off why in a second. If you heat this side up a bit, and then maybe you just ever so slightly pry it open, or maybe you don't even need to, then you can pop it on the head. There's that. Then we have the screaming face. Oh, that's so good. Look at this. Look at the teeth, the tongue, and the color inside the mouth there. Again, really nice like shading around the cheeks and the chin on the lip color. Look at his eye piercing through again. That closed eye is really nice. The scars, that just is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Okay, so why did I mention stuff about heating things up? Because this port was so small earlier for the sword holding hand that I had to heat this up, and then I was messing around with some things. I popped this arm off here. This forearm can be removed. Pop this hand off. Heated this port up, and I just did this since I wasn't needing this right now, or when I needed it. And now, after I've done the hot air trick with the port, it fits in there now. So you're going to need to do that if these hands are too small. I think they made them too small in the factory, so that way, I think they probably thought, oh, it's a really big sword. He's going to need tight wrist joints. Yeah, that was way too tight to wear. Let me see if it's on the fist, right? So this is the fist. Do you see? Can you see how small that is? Look at the right, look at the left. That's way too small. Now I'm glad I was able to fix it though. And just going ahead looking at both hands here, the wraps around the hands, there's actually some like shading on the knuckles too, like on the exposed part of the hand, same thing going on. Just ever so slightly some shading. You can see the fingernails too. And then you also have the fist here, all that paint on there. The white paint comes through. Really nice. I really dig that. So we have this, right? This sword. This knife here has some silver right there on the pommel, and then a wrap around the handle, and then a light brown leather material going on there. All you need to do, this will pop out rather easily. I'm just going to let you guys know right now. There is a peg on the belt. You might want to move some things around. I don't know if things might be... I'm going to have to look at the manual over and over again. And I'll leave the manual... If I could find it online, I'll leave it down in the description below. I don't want to force things to accidentally break, but that just doesn't want to... That just wants to, like, not go in. You know? It just really does not want to stick in there. So I don't know if that needs to be heated up too. That's really not going to move around that much, though. It's really supposed to be a stationary piece. Okay. So this is a removable piece that he came packaged with for the metal arm. The idea is you have this hand... Pop that on there. You can pop the other ones on there. You can pop this hand. This is actually a little bit looser. It might actually... So this is... No. It's actually really tight. I might have to heat this up later. Oh, no, I got it in there. This is a softer grip. Is this the softer grip one? It gets a little confusing figuring out what's what. Okay. So this is actually meant for holding the sword, and we'll talk about the sword in a second. He comes with this hand that there is actually a bit of a separation with the thumb and index finger, unlike this one where it's sculpted at the thumb and index finger. That's because it's meant for holding the crossbow arm. And look at the crossbow all on here. Popping this off is going to be really difficult right now. Okay, I'm struggling a bit because of how much stuff that they really worked out with this figure. This does hinge up and down, but not all the way, so be careful with that. This, I guess this like fan piece or whatever. The string there for the crossbow. All that is really cool. This little lever piece right there. And you got to see this during, like, some of the 360, you got to see that. But you pop that in, and you have the arm with the crossbow accessory. Let's go ahead and pop this hand off. You can see that's as far as it wants to go with the height there. And then you can pivot that forward and back. Now, you also have this sheath version. If you just align how this is supposed to be pegged in there, you have this to where he can pull that out later if you don't want to equip that accessory right now. That's a little bit loose too. And then this here is all one piece. The cannon arm, this thing that hinges down, that is really cool. It does have a bit of a port in there. I wish it came with a blast effect. I don't know what I can use in my collection for that, but this thing is really sick. I think I'm actually almost done with a couple things. First of all, Dragon Slayer sword. Look at this thing. It's a big old hunk of iron here. The silver on the blade is really fantastic. What looks like leather is nicely sculpted on here. Giving you a closer look at all of that detailing. I really love the paint work on this. It's so clean. This is an actual metal hook piece. I don't know where this can be hooked on the figure though. So I don't think that's actually meant for hooking anything. And then you have the wraps here on the handle. This pops off here. Just be careful, because then you slip this through the hands that hold the sword. Then you pop this back on, and you have this little attached soft plastic piece right there. I really have no idea how to pronounce this. I've tried to find the pronunciation all online. Behilit, whatever. I don't know, guys. Please help me out. The sculpting with the mouth, the eyes, and the nose, all that is really cool. I don't know if those black specks are supposed to be there. I've also really only seen it look red in certain images. But this green one does look cool. I just don't know if these black splotches are supposed to be there. But that is really sick. Of course, I didn't forget about the soft goods. Imagine if Tamashii Nations did like they usually do, or even like Figma sometimes, and they just like made this a hard plastic. That'd be freaking insane, and just like people would be so pissed. Now you can see the bendy wires a bit go on in here, but it functions. It's really not that distracting. The paint on the inside here is really great. The tears that they have sculpted on here or not really sculpted, is detailed on here, I should say. All that tearing is really good. That's what the back looks like. And then this is all one piece here. There's even bendy wires around a neck piece. So the idea is you have this section right here. This is all one piece. So this right here, you would take this neck piece off. You would then loop this around his head, popping the head off, and then you would actually have to loop this neck piece on the front in front right there. So that the fabric from that hooks into that. And then you pop this back on. So it's rather difficult to do. You're going to need to be patient with it so you don't break anything. But this is what it looks like all assembled together after doing it. If you get this figure, you're really going to want to look at the instruction manuals for it, so that way you don't mess anything up. I also forgot to mention this really cool slip on the inside of the box that has a bunch of behilits, whatever you're supposed to pronounce it, from the box on here. Really cool stuff. I'm really digging this. Before I do the actual detail portion, I just realized I forgot to talk about the brand. It looks incredible on the neck, all that printing that's around the brand, the sculpted details on the actual brand, as well as the red in there. It is extremely nice. I tried to make it as short as I could, guys. I really could. There's too much stuff with that figure. And this might pop off, just a heads up. This is the face it comes packaged with, the neutral expression, looking forward, the lip color, again, all that. You get all that really nice paint going on with the shading in the face. It is just so beautifully done. It really is a true work of art, I gotta be honest. It's gotta be some of the best work they've ever done. Not exaggerating. I mentioned that you can't see that break in the hair that much, and that's actually really cool. It took me a while to find it. All that hair sculpted on there and painted is really good. This draped on here is not very heavy. So, the only thing is his ankles are a little loose. We'll get there when we get there. This whole neck piece going on, though, that is really cool. The detailing, it wraps around the head. It kind of hinders articulation. Just a little bit hinders articulation. I mean, you can kind of make it work, but this will eventually pop off if you like extend this too much and then go there. You can see it's starting to pop off already. And then you have all this really nice plating going on here. All the arm pieces are nice and spiky. I think the knee might be a little loose. That's really tight. Oh boy. They have this like type of powder look in between the plating going on with the paint. And it's really nice. I don't know if it's actually powder or if it's like if it's painted on there. Pretty sure it's painted on there. It's really cool, that type of paint that they've gone on there. We have some scarring on the elbows and the forearms. And one thing I want to mention, yeah, the joint here on the elbow, right there, it's really bright compared to a little bit more tan and just like a little bit of shading going on here. I understand why they probably didn't paint that. I wish they kind of had a different color for this. So this is probably the same, molded as the same color as this, but they've added the paint there. So I don't know. I wish they had the foresight to realize, hey, that's going to look really bright. That joint is hidden really well up in there too. And then these different plating pieces, there's lots of moving parts. Like this part attached to the shoulder, and then this right here, a lot of that likes to move. I think it's either on ball joints or soft plastic or both. This is definitely a softer plastic right here. This is what the wrapping looks like on the hand. And this is a little bit of a looser hand, unfortunately. I'll have to tighten that later. But you can see a little bit of detailing on the inside of the palms, and the wrap's looking really good. I think that the wrist looks a little too circular. That's just how it's going to be with some of these figures. It's fine with me, honestly. Now we get on this side here, right? In this fake arm, the way they did this is great. You kind of get that same thing with this elbow here, but you have this to block it a little bit. And at least it's all relatively the same color. Yeah, you don't get the wraps detail in the actual elbow, but that still looks really fantastic. This actual metal arm accessory that he came packaged with is really good too. I think that all the metal arms, I think they could have a little bit better metallic paint going on. I think what they did is they kind of made it look a little bit glittery, like sometimes NECA does. NECA figures will sometimes have like the metal parts on there, but they'll have like the guns will have like a glittery plastic on it. I think they attempted it here, and I don't think it's that bad with this one. This hand he came packaged with, this open hand, the really nice metal fingers, the detailing on that is really cool. And I haven't put that knife on there, it's just going to be a hassle. I do kind of like that. I mean, this is stiff plastic, but I like that this is separated. It's not attached to the figure at all, so that way it won't get in the way of any articulation and hinder anything. The idea is you put this knife accessory on, but man, I think they're sticking out, aren't they? It's really difficult for me to do. Put the knife accessory on, you can maybe like hide, I mean, you maybe could hide it like that. So that way it all looks seamless. And then that also, that piece right there ends. You see where the buckle, the metal is? This knife will cover a lot of stuff to make it all look pretty seamless. But as soon as you do that, actually it's not moving. Okay, yeah, it starts to move after a couple turns. Satchel's really nice, has a really nice brown leather detailing on there, pretty bright brown. I think that this little belt could also have a little bit better like brown detailing, I guess, like a leather, I guess. And then these knives don't remove at all, but I kind of expected that. It's whatever. They're too small. He already comes with enough stuff as it is. I'm fine with them not being removable, for being quite honest. The buckle on that is nice and has a ball joint going on in here. This pouch is also a ball joint, and then this back piece is a softer plastic for the butt flap, or at least on the armor butt flap. It's kind of being blocked by the cape, but you can see what the back of the armor looks like. I didn't talk about the chest that much yet. We'll look at that in a second. The rivets on the actual belt here are really nice. And then you have this piece here for the undone version of the, the crossbow accessory. And this is also a nice glossy brown material. This one looks definitely a lot more like leather. And it's also on a ball joint. This small pouch is also on a ball joint. That will pop off rather easily. And now looking at the chest piece, again, there's some nice detailing of like almost like a powdery type of tarnishing almost. All the plating of the engineering going on in here. It all works together. I think that, no, actually, the detailing doesn't get in the way of articulation too much, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So the lower torso, right? I think that the detailing, again, is really nice. You have the crotch piece that's molded on there. I don't know what just fell. Oh, the neck piece, of course. The plating, again, on the legs, that has that, like, powdery tarnishing going on. Rivets on the inner thigh. And the crotch piece on the outside, too, looking really nice. And then you have some wrinkling on this part of the joint there. So it looks like on the outside with that, like, tarnishing. These are on a leather strap here, sculpted all the way around. Looking really good. That's not great, though. Not a fan of that. No sculpting on the inner thighs and the crotch piece, but it's whatever. They don't need it. These knee joints, so this knee part here covers it, but these are smoother. But look at all, again, really good plating going on the shins, very similar to how we had it all up in here. It's beautiful, man. Like this wrinkles in the back. There's just a little bit of detailing on the back of the actual joint, though, you see. Just a little bit. A little bit of wrinkling and then plating going on the side of the shins, on the back of the shins, those calves really have some wrinkles, and the shin plating is really good. That is what the top of the feet look like there. Great plating again with some nice paint of like powdery tarnishing going on. That's what the bottom of the feet look like. There's not much going on there. It's fine, though. These feet are kind of small, I feel. I mean, they could be anatomically correct, but I think they're kind of small, so it's a little bit hard for them to stand. There might have been some things I missed, but overall, I mean, again, these look like articulated pieces and ball joints and all that, but they're hidden really well. Overall, there is just a lot that they captured with the detailing here, and it just is such an incredible piece. Articulation's really good, even though some things are slightly hindered. So the head, wow, that actually looks up better than I thought it was going to. The down motion is actually not too bad, but it definitely could be a little bit. But this kind of gets in the way, but not too much. The side to side, yeah, that will pop off. Let's go ahead and just pop this off right here. So that's the side. There's also, you know, the head joint and then neck joint going into the body. Side to side, swiveling. You can grab the neck if you want and try to swivel that too. All this range of motion. It's pretty tight up here, but it keeps it posed really well. Some moving armor plates. This doesn't really want to move, what I'm grabbing, but this is attached to the shoulder, so it kind of moves around, and a little bit of soft plastic and ball joints combined here. The arm can kind of go out like that. This kind of wants to get in the way. It can shift up and down a little bit, so you can try to make things a little, I don't know, it's a little bit difficult. But you see how that's done in there, and then there's like a hinge and a peg going into the shoulder. Arms can go all the way around. Again, the cape might get in the way a little bit. A little bit of an actual upper arm swivel if you do that. But then there's this separate one right here too at the bicep. And then there's no other swiveling going on. We have a double joint elbow, which bends really nice. But again, some of the plating might get in the way. Standard wrist articulation. This is really tight actually. This swiveling here. I really shouldn't be doing this, but you guys know how that is supposed to work. Okay, the ball joint's a little loose up here, I feel like. And not to mention these ball joints for all these different satchels and stuff. The armor piece right here is a separate piece that I'm touching right here. And then this, I think, is actually, I think that's also a separate piece. I could be wrong. More things keep popping off. Trying to shift this and move this all the way back with his legs up there. That's the ab backward. And ab forward is definitely going to be a little bit better. Side to side is actually pretty good. And then you can swivel some things. Just be careful. It sounds like I'm snagging things, so just be careful. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. And then some plates might look a little bit loose. And then you can move this forward. I think you could push it a little bit far like that. And then you can go back like so. These things stick out, but you relatively, you know, they're on a little bit of softer plastic. You can kind of make this do a perfect split, but these things want to stick out. Upper thigh swivel. This hip joint right here is, did something just break? Oh no. So you guys saw that. Yeah. That I did extensive care around the crotch area. I really don't want to move anything. Tamashii Nations quality. This is from China. So both the Chinese and Vietnam factories, their stuff is really bad. Tamashii Nations quality this year has been horrendous. God awful. Unacceptable anymore. I can't take it anymore. It's insane. Okay, so there's a ball joint actually going on in here, so it can pivot a little bit there. Double joint knees, you get not much swiveling going on. You do get a ball joint here at the ankle, so you can actually make this ankle go down, and it swivels here as well. And you could pivot it forward, so you can actually make that go up all the way. That's really cool. Ankle rocker, toe hinge. God, that's annoying. Before I do measurements and size comparison, this part of the thing that holds the crossbow that on the back, that broke off, so I'm so pissed off. Anyway, this is going to be about 17 centimeters. We're going to put it like, I don't know, 6.5 inches. God, I'm so bummed. So, some of the new SH Figuarts that I've gotten recently that don't have quality issues, at least not yet. Gabimaru as well as Orange Piccolo on the far right. You can see those size comparisons. Gabimaru is pretty short. Yuji Todori on the far left is going to be a little bit shorter than Guts. I think he's a little bit of a taller SHF, and he's going to be slightly shorter than a Marvel Legends figure. No photo dump, unfortunately. I was going to do photos all day with this figure, and I just can't. I don't want to mess up any more than anything's already been done. I'm so disappointed. I was singing this figure's praise. I was glazing this figure, man, in the beginning, and then it just explodes on me mid-review. Like, what the hell? I did a whole live stream that's 40 minutes long of me messing around with this figure on Instagram. Nothing happened to it. What is going on with Tamashii Nations lately, where the quality across the board is horrendous and unacceptable, especially with the prices going up? That is not cool. I am so fed up. I usually sing Tamashii Nations praises because 2022 they absolutely killed it. They have dropped the ball a lot this year, and I've forgiven a few things. This is the final straw. I am so unhappy with the quality of this product. I cannot believe what has happened with this. Tamashii Nations, you all need to do better. This figure looks amazing. What articulation is supposed to be there is amazing if it doesn't fall apart in your hands. It does have a lot of great accessories. Detailing, paint, sculpt, this soft fabric cape, the packaging. It's really awesome. Until the quality gives out, and it's been happening with tons of different people lately. It sucks. I am so unhappy with what should be an amazing figure. Tamashii Nations, you messed up. I cannot believe this. See you guys later.